You're asked to use the idea of an inverse to calculate the measure of the indicated angle. So, first of all, this is, I think, probably one of the prime examples of why using the online version of the book is really helpful. Because if you get to a problem like this, sometimes it's not super obvious what maybe the next step is. Maybe a question like this where you haven't seen it in a really long time, back from geometry or whatever it may be, where you're not sure what to do, this homework help option is really helpful. It kind of helps walk you through it. And usually they do this thing where in this book where if you are doing a problem that is like super new, they're going to give you two of them. And the reason they do that is not because they just want to pile on more work, but it's oftentimes like we know that for the first one, people are going to be like, I don't remember how to do this. So they use the homework help. So, like, use that and try and answer the first one with the help. And then the second one is that option for you to go through and try it without it. Again, just to try and get you used to things that you haven't seen in a while. So, for this one, we're looking to find the angle. So, I'm going to use sine to help me here because I see I have the opposite side and the hypotenuse. And I know using SOHCAHTOA that sine of x equals 7/12. So now, if you're using that homework help, it would remind you to use the inverse sine of an angle. And so basically, what we're going to do here is hopefully this shows up for you, but I have a calculator here, and I'm going to. This is kind of an older one, an 83, but they should all be kind of the same. But basically, here I'm going to hopefully. Let's see if this works. Do sine, the inverse sine of both sides, because basically I'm, trying to do this thing where if I do, the inverse sine, these things cancel out and leave me with just x. So really what should happen is I'm going to do the inverse sine of both sides. So I'm going to basically try and plug that into this calculator. Okay, so here we go. We got, I'm looking for the inverse sine here, which if you see wherever you see sine, the second option, sometimes it's the yellow button for second or blue, but you hit second and then sine. And then I'm going to do 7 divided by 12. And then I'm going to end that parenthesis and then I hit enter and I get 0.622, which doesn't make any sense. Oh man, if that doesn't make any sense, because that's not 0.622 of an angle, I'm going to go through and do one thing on my calculator where I go to mode, and instead of radians, I'm going to talk about degrees. I hit enter. Now let's go back and let's try that again. Inverse sine of 7/12. I hit enter and boom, I get 35.68. Which, again, we're going to say our answer is about 35.7 degrees. So in this one here, x is about 35.7 degrees. So now in the next one here, I'm looking for y. So I'm going to actually use cosine of y because I have the adjacent and the hypotenuse. So 5/15. Then I'm going to take the inverse cosine of both sides so that I get y by itself. And now I'm going to plug that into a calculator. So I got second cosine 5 divided by 15. And I get about 70.5 degrees. So y is about 70.5 degrees.